Hello everybody! Happy Monday! How are we doing? Is everybody as hot as I am? It is currently 35 degrees in my office. So if you can hear the fan, that's why the fan is on. Yeah, it's quite warm. It's quite warm. Good afternoon, tattooed zoologist, Mark Watson, Stoogie, Xavier, Nick Main, Flying Muttley, Colonel of the 149th Death Corps crew, Elecman24, Zara, Critical Focus Channel, Asmodeus, Music Mad, Thomas, Lil May Rose. How are we doing? Good evening, Stephen Walker. Hello, Hungry Bert. Hello, Vicious Goose. That would be one way to put it, Critical Focus Channel. Good mid-morning to you, James Matthias. How are you doing? Today, everybody, we are going to be... Weirdly, the music is quite appropriate right now. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Legions Imperialis. We're going to be building some Fire Raptor gunships. Hopefully. I haven't actually looked at these yet. I've only just opened them. There's things in the box. We have a transfer sheet, yes, lovely. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, all of them on. That's interesting. There we go. Yeah. I hope you're all doing... Just drop the instructions, that's what we like. I hope you're all doing as well as I am in some ways. I hope you're all doing better than I am, actually. It's hot. Are you hyped or disappointed in the Blood Angels announcement? I am disappointed AF. I'm disappointed in the Blood Angels announcement because I predicted the Blood Angels announcement. I knew exactly what was going to be in it, and there it was. So it's just more of the same of 40k, just dumbing it down. Good evening, Andy. I think as I have said repeatedly throughout 40k 10, the Asterath model is fine. The Lamatis model is fine. They're nice models, but they're exactly what you would expect from the range. 100% exactly what you would expect. So, there's no surprises. So, it's like, okay, cool. Have you found some inspiration? No, not yet, Thomas. I'm hoping to. I'm hoping to by building some Legions Imperialis today. Cortez model isn't fun. No, Cortez. Is it Cortez or is it Cotiaz? Cotes. I have no idea how you're supposed to say it. There's no R in it, that's the thing. Is there anywhere else they could go with Blood Angels? I mean, this is it, right? It's like... I couldn't tell you something that isn't just a redesign of models. Is it laziness or has the game just found its boundaries? So this is what I have said before, James. I have said that 40k has crashed up against the barriers of its own universe. and now is collapsing in on itself. Because it's reached the edge of the known galaxy, and they've decided to turn back and look inwards and been introspective. So you're not going to get new models, you get lots of redesigns of old models, which is... you can say, oh, it was definitely absolutely 100% needed, and yeah, well, did we need... Did I need a new Lamatis? No, I have a Lamatis. Did I need a new Astorath? No, I have an Astorath. Did I need new Death Company? No, I don't need new Death Company. I have 45 Death Company. But I will now need new Death Company, because I have a sneaking suspicion that just like with the Deathwing, the old Death Company box is going to go, and all of the loadouts that I have on my Death Company will now be invalid, so I can't use them anymore. So I have to get the new ones. And I don't have to buy into that, you know? So 40k right now is just in this, like, it's in this redesign loop, and it is going to be in this redesign loop for the rest of this edition. I mean, look, the article says there'll be plenty more red and some gold yet to come, and it's like, oh, okay, what does that mean? Well, it means that we're probably going to get a redesigned Sanguinor, and it means we're probably going to get redesigned Sanguinary Guard. And what does the red mean? Who can say? Are they going to be new Space Marines? I doubt it. I doubt it sincerely. I bet what they meant by plenty more red means we're going to be talking about the red parts of the chapter. Because you're not going to see a brand new Space Marine unit. They just haven't done that for this entire edition, and I would be really surprised if they did now. You might see something like the Inner Circle Companions. You might see something like that. Equally, you might see Sanguinary Guard reduced to a unit of 3. And if they get reduced to a unit of 3, that means anybody who's got 30, you can only use 18 of them. And the things will be probably invalidated anyway. Mini Painting Dad has kicked us off incredibly already today with 5 of the finest gifted Warhipster memberships. Mini Painting Dad, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. That means a lot, because we've had a month. Is YouTube reading my brain? Look at some Legions Imperialis at this hobby store, and now videos are popping up everywhere. Yes, that is what YouTube is doing. Good evening, AOS side. Hello, Squigburger. How about, and wait for it, new characters? So, Steve, you have hit the nail 100% on the head. Okay? Absolutely 100%. Now, what we can look forward to about a brand new character, okay? We're getting into the weeds of this. I didn't think we would this quickly, but we're going to get into the weeds of this. If you say with the Blood Angels, we're not going to touch Astorath, we're not going to touch Lamatis, we've done Mephiston, we've done Dante. If you go, here is Captain whatever his name is, of the 9th Company, right? It's a brand new character, never heard of it. Means you can do whatever you want with it. You can equip it however you want. You can even use it to completely change how the army functions. And I'll remind you of people like Lazarus. Lazarus was not 100% new, because he'd appeared as a sergeant in the Wrath of Fenris or Wrath of Magnus or whatever it was called. But he was a new model, brand new model, right? And it's a gorgeous captain model. The same for Ironfather Phyros. Great new model. Fantastic new model for the Iron Hands. The same thing for, again, he's not new in the lore, but he was new in terms of model. Torgaradon. Brand new model. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Just brilliant. Lovely stuff. We love to see those kinds of things, because you can then build up stuff around those characters to move the story forward for that particular chapter. You don't have to move the whole of 40k forward, but you can move that chapter, those people, you can move their story forward. I bet you that Blood Angels Codex is about them fighting Tyranids in the Red Scar or whatever it's called, and that's it. Mini Painting Dad has also sent a super chat of 20 euros saying, cheers to all from the North Sea Islands. Got my first vacation drink ready. It's a beautiful Monday evening. I'm quite jealous of you, Mini Painting Dad. I've got all of the heat and none of the relaxation. This is very, very warm up here. Okay. Maybe new models for characters that never had them. Would love Cardan Stronos for the Iron Hands. Yeah. Yeah. Just someone new, because you can do something new with it. You could move the story, move the game, move people forward. Instead of just being like, all right, what needs redoing? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they go, oh, there's plenty of red on the way. We've got a redesigned Brother Corbulo for you. And do you know what? I'm genuinely surprised there isn't a redesigned Captain Tycho. Honestly. I know he's dead. That doesn't seem to matter, does it? I know it's not 100% true, but in some ways, as a person new to the hobby, it feels like 40k lore is still in the 9th edition. The game has moved forward, but the lore hasn't quite caught up. You are bang on there, James. And the lore didn't advance very far in 9th. It took huge leaps and bounds in 8th. Massive ones. Incredible steps forward. Which is why you got so many brand new models. And at the moment, the story isn't moving anywhere, which is why you're getting lots of redesigns of old models. And genuinely, we could sit here for the next 2 hours, and we could probably predict every single model that's coming. Easily. I think we could predict every single model that's coming for every codex that isn't still there. And at this point, we probably wouldn't be far off. Instead of getting like a 10% hit success rate, we'd probably sit at a comfortable 50 to 60%. You're not going to get Necrons for a while, Steve. You've already had Necrons. You've had your 2 redesigns. You've had your Imatech and your Orican. New Kaldor for Grey Knights. Yeah, Grey Knights is the funny one, right? Grey Knights is going to be really interesting, because Grey Knights are either going to get completely redone, like some people are hoping and wishlisting, but I would guess not, because their Grey Knight Terminators have appeared in the product stuff for the Imperial Agents. So if they were going to get new Terminators, why would you wait another year to put them out, but still also package the new thing with the old thing, if you see what I mean? I mean, it's Games Workshop, so sometimes they don't make the smartest decisions. But like, Grey Knights, very, very interesting. What's going to happen to Grey Knights? Are they going to get a full redo from the ground up, or is it absolutely more likely that they're going to get a new plastic version of Kaldor Drago, and possibly Brother Captain Stern? That would be my guess. Or they'll just get a new Grandmaster kit. Voldus was a new plastic model in 8th. He's not going to get a new model. He came out at the same time as Gilliman. So, you know, that's Grey Knights. Grey Knights done. What next? Wouldn't mind a new Logan Grimnar sculpt. See, Space Wolves is the only one. Space Wolves is a complete and utter outlier. Okay? Because we've had... Okay? We've had an army set for the Dark Angels. We're getting an army set for the Blood Angels. So that would lead me to believe that we're going to get an army set for the Space Wolves. What the hell is going to be in it? Wolfguard? Maybe. Something like that. their characters are pretty easy to predict, right? Because you can probably just say it's going to be our Jack Rockfist, because he's in resin. Maybe Njal Stormcaller, because we've had a Terminator Librarian, so we'll probably get another one. Because Njal's model is metal. Primarchs-sized Thunderwolves. Do you know? I don't know. I don't know if that will happen. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if what they got was an update. It was would be an upgrade sprue that lets you add some Wolfie bits to Outriders, and then they just got rid of Thunderwolves. Have you seen the Blood Angels announcement? Yes, Conic Belter. That's what we're bitching about now. Go on, someone throw out another faction. Who else shall we try and predict? Eldari? Eldari's really easy. You've got a couple of resin things to choose from. World Eaters, Eldar. So the reason I think what Eldar are going to get, I don't think they're going to get as much as people think they're going to get. I think Eldar are going to get a plastic Karandras, and that's it. Because we've had the striking scorpions. Like, obviously, there's the swooping hawks and the warp spiders yet to go, but that's it. Seeing as we got Night Lords for Kill Team, maybe they would do a 40k faction. I doubt that. I doubt that sincerely. They're just Chaos Space Marines. It's an upgrade sprue. Before you see Codex Night Lords, you need Codex Emperor's Children. Same for before you see Codex Raven Guard or Codex. It's the same thing with the Primarchs, right? The Primarchs thing is, there's always this debate about Primarchs. Who's going to be the next Primarch to come back? And everyone always thinks it's going to be, oh, we might say Lorgar or Perturabo. No. You're not getting any of those. What you're getting is Fulgrim. You're getting Russ. And you're probably going to get a Sanguinor of some kind. And that will be the thing. Those are the ones you're getting. Because they've got ranges that support. So you can guarantee that those models will sell. And the stupid thing about that is a Primarch is always going to sell, but you can't just release a Primarch on its own and then the only other thing that you can sell alongside that is an upgrade sprue for a chapter. So you're not going to see the Khan, you're not going to see Vulcan, you're not going to see Korax, you're not going to see any of them. They're going to hang out for a long time until those codexes start getting their own units. But 10th edition makes me think that they ain't ever getting their own units. Because 10th edition is all about reducing the range and redesigning the things you want to keep. And simplifying, not simple. So, this is why the Blood Angels release, you look at it and you go, cool, that is the end of the Death Company box, and that's the end of the Blood Angels Dreadnought box. It's going. I 100% believe this. Would Perturabo not work as a generic Chaos Primarch for the non-devoted legions? He would if Abaddon wasn't there. And also Perturabo is the leader of the Iron Warriors. He's not the War Master of Chaos. How much of this is driven by production costs, do you think? I don't think it is. I don't think it is driven by production costs. I think it's driven by what people on the internet have been asking for a very, very, very long time. You look at all of ever since the Primaris Marines came, you look at what people on the internet have been asking for, and they've hit every single one of those things so far. But it does mean that you're not going to come at the cost of two, because why would you sell both? That's insane. Especially when The new one is always objectively better than the old one. Not necessarily in rules, but in terms of the way the model looks, the new ones are always objectively better. Those Death Company intercessors with jump packs look better than the old Death Company with jump packs. They do. The problem is, all of my Death Company that have got Thunder Hammers, they're going. Hand the concept of DC off to the AOS team and they'll come up with some batty feral marines. Well, exactly. If you did the same thing for Space Wolves with the Wolfen, I think the AOS designers would come up with a much better looking set of Wolfen. The way both sides have worked, Space Marines is always the easiest, but the way both sides have worked for years now is you have the Space Marines, which encompasses most of them, and then you have your divergent chapters, and the main ones that have always had a range for a very long time are Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Blood Angels. Chaos Space Marines, it's the same deal. Chaos Space Marines, you have the Codex Chaos Space Marines, which incorporates 6 of them, or 5 of the 9, and then the other 4 are the God Legions, which is why you've always had things like Noise Marines, Plague Marines, Berserkers, and Rubric Marines, right? They've then expanded those 4 out into the specific factions: World Eaters, Thousand Sons, Death Guard, and they have said there is also a supplement for Emperor's Children. So Emperor's Children is happening. There's your 4 plus Chaos Space Marines. So for Space Marines, you've already got it. Space Marines, Black Templars, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and Dark Angels. Mirror match. Easy. So you could argue that perhaps Dawn may come back, and instead of being with the Imperial Fists, he's actually with the Black Templars, or he could be used for both. But I doubt that. See, Grey Knights are specialists. They're not a first founding. $40k end times. Oh, Lil May Rose. I'd love 40k end times. I'd love it so much. 40k end times is exactly what 40k needs. 40k needs to be killed so it can be rebirthed. And just have this epic story of your favourite characters meeking out, having their glorious last stands. You just tie it up, and what does that lead into? 50k. Yeah, something like that, James. You move it into the next phase of what the sci-fi property from Games Workshop would look like. And you don't blow up the universe. You don't completely destroy it, but you just have another old knight. Just move it forward 10,000 years. Kill the Emperor. Have him stand back up. Call it the Age of Emperor if you want to. Will we get a new faction in 40k, or are they creatively bankrupt? No. I don't think they're creatively bankrupt at all. I think they've chosen the easier path, which is one of basically it's what Hollywood does. It's harder to find bangers all the time because when you do something new, the internet complains about it. So Nids win, and in one corner of the universe, humanity still fights on. Emp's getting back up, as he is immortal if they let him die on the Golden Throne. Yeah, exactly. I know what I'm describing is basically the simplest way of doing this, right? But what it does is it lays a groundwork for you to be able to go and move forward. And so you can make new factions. You can go out and rediscover your own galaxy and find new stuff. And just create new factions and new weird and wacky science fiction. Look, with Warhammer Fantasy, there is a kind of... You have a blank page with which to create whatever you want, right? And that's what they do in Age of Sigmar. They create whatever the heck they want. In 40k, they go, we can't do that at the moment. We can't just create whatever the heck we want, because the Imperium slaughtered everyone. You are correct, Squigburger. I see them moving to more generic boxes that then the consumer can then build to the chapter they want. You are 100% correct, but you know what has been a problem with 10th so far is the rules have just removed all identity. So you can buy your boxes of Space Marines and paint them whatever colour you want, which is great. You've always been able to do that, but you can do that. And then, if you want to add some Death Company, you can. Hardest thing I think is that they have positioned 30k as the old world of 40k. So it's like if 40k turns into the old world, where does that put heresy? Heresy, I would just keep completely separate. Heresy is a historical war game, basically. Heresy's fine. Isn't the main problem that the timeline was progressing right up until the original 13th Black Crusade didn't go how GW planned due to gamers gaming the game, and then they were stuck on 999.m41? That was true, and then they did 8th. Bellerophon. Yes. Yes. I think the end of 7th / start of 8th could have been this. Bobby G's new crusades spreading out from Terra, but they chickened out. That's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was. 8th edition was that. That's why 8th edition was amazing. That's why all the models that you got in 8th edition were great, because it was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And the same thing for 9th edition. Problem is, we had a pandemic for a year and a half, so didn't get to play most of we didn't get to play half of 9th edition. And in that time, Games Workshop moved 40k more towards the competitive side, and the competitive side doesn't like flavour. The competitive side likes managed dice rolls to the point of where, ideally, you don't have to roll any dice, it's all just mathematically done. So you just go, yeah, this unit beats that unit beats that unit, this unit beats that unit. That's the end of the game. Shake hands. And that's how the game has moved towards that side. And the game needs to move away from that and move back to a kind of more Flavor Town. And the way you move it back to Flavor Town is you create a narrative war game, and you make the narrative impact the decisions that happen in terms of the models and the books and all that kind of thing as it goes forward. Hello, just for saying thanks for your many contrast tutorials. They help me so much. Awesome videos. Thank you very much, Imperialis. The balance is better. Yeah, that's what people wanted. They wanted a balanced game. Do the new Blood Angels minis at least look interesting to build and paint? If you've built and painted a Brutalis Dreadnought, some Assault Intercessors with jump packs, and some Assault Intercessors, you already know how interesting they will be to build and paint. That's what's in that box. Assault Intercessors, Assault Intercessors with jump packs, Assault Intercessors, and a Brutalis Dreadnought, and 2 new characters. There's only 2 models in there that we've not seen before. That's it. Oh, there you go, Winchester. So Spearhead twists. I've only played Spearhead in 4th Ed so far, sorry. Spearhead's great. Never apologise for Spearhead playing. Spearhead's fantastic. In fact, would you like to see something that I finished? Let me do that. So over here, we'll go over to the overhead cam. So for your games of Spearhead, we have finally finished painting. It was on like 38mm. We'll just move these bases out of the way for the moment. Terrain piece. Terrain piece. Terrain piece. And terrain piece. So this video is coming this week. Don't worry, it's on its way. How to paint the Spearhead terrain. I promised it was coming. Because all the Skaven and all of the Stormcast, those videos are now out. Apart from the 5 Storm hosts, which I've started work on. So we've done 1. We've done Sons of the Gladius. There they are. So we've done our first of these. And just before I went live, I started working on the second one, which is Astral Templars. This has only had 1 coat on it, so don't worry. It's going to look a little bit more impressive once it's finished. But that's my job today and tomorrow, is to get those 5 done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're done with Skaventide. Skaventide is concluded. But today, I'm going to continue talking about 40k. But before we do that, I must insist that you leave a like on the stream, guys. Please do leave a like on the stream. That would be very, very kind of you. We want to get to 50 likes, and then we want to get to that immortal number of 69 likes. That's what we want to do. And as always, and I'm actually just going to change this to 400. If you would like to, consider becoming a member or gifting some membership so somebody else can become a member. That would be incredibly kind of you. We're looking to get to 400 rather than 500, so we're only 28 memberships away. That's very, very achievable. And of course, if you really want to have something to talk about as I start to build some Fire Raptors, who by the looks of things shouldn't actually do too bad to build, as you can see, the instructions are literally this. But we'll check out the sprues. We're going to build some Fire Raptors. If you really want to have something that we talk about over the next hour and a half to 2 hours, you can send a super chat, which would be really generous of you, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you. And that is the YouTube stuff done, and I will remind you later. But we got to 45 likes, so we're just 5 off 50. Incredible scenes. You guys are the best. Best audience ever. And Mini Painting Dad has gifted another 5 memberships. Like an absolute legend. Thank you so much, Mini Painting Dad. You're brilliant. You're a star. Thank you so much. I can't believe they set up such a large and significant battle at the start of 10th via the invasion of the Tyrants, and then seemingly nothing happened with it. Just went back to Necron. Well, exactly, Mr. Reaper. So what the hell's going on? Savage Savra, thank you very much for becoming a member as well. You are also a legend. I very much appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. To those of you who've not been a member before, or indeed this is your first time as a member, you can become a member of our Discord as well. That is one of your benefits for being a member of the channel. If you join the Discord, you'll find the best community on the internet. And if you find the best community on the internet, you'll find the most supportive community on the internet. And everybody in there is wonderful and beautiful and amazing, and I love them very much. And they are the reason I keep doing what I'm doing. Because without them, I wouldn't be able to keep doing this. You guys are rule. And everybody here, of course. But let's have a look, shall we? Fire Raptor Gunship Squadron. So, it looks fairly simple. to my untrained eye. It looks significantly more simple than building a normal-sized Fire Raptor, which is one of the worst sets of components ever. Hello, your videos are fantastic. Thank you, Lewis Evans. Strong start. Quick question: how do you work out the colors / blends? Example: Cruel Boy's skin. What do you mean? How do I work them out? I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. Color theory. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to, like, you can see the fan in action. If you're trying to create your own color by mixing colors, let's go back here. Then the best thing to do is Google it. Google what color you're trying to make. So if you're trying to make a green, look at what the components of said green are. So sometimes you look at it and go, oh, there's a bit of yellow in there, so we need to throw in some yellow. Depends on the type of yellow you want to throw in there. Then if you want to go bright yellow, that will create a different kind of yellow. If you want to go for a darker yellow, a more sickly yellow, then you go for a darker, more sickly yellow to throw into the green, which will merge with it quite nicely. One of the things to do is to really just look at Games Workshop's product photography, look at what they're doing with it, and always look at, and one of the best bits of advice I can give you is look at what the color the highlights are. So if you look at like a Space Marine who is red, right? If you look at the highlights and they've gone for brighter reds, then you know you're going for like a red scheme. But if you look at the highlights and they've gone for more of an orange tone or more of a kind of purple tone, then you're going for a darker red. You see what I mean? So Cruel Boy's skin was 2 dark greens, then Plague Bearer over the top. Yeah, so the Plague Bearer, because it's a yellowish green, was to add a little bit of yellow in there. You can actually now make Cruel Boys even easier just by using Gut Ripper Flesh. If you look at the... what's it called? If you look at the Beast Skewer Kill Bow, or the... Breaker Boss on Maya Boot Troggoth. If you look at those videos, you can make it a lot easier. So in those older videos, in order to get the tones that I wanted, rather than just use Orc Flesh, which is not the right color, then in order to get that, you had to mix it, which is why I did that the way I did it. So using the various greens to get the tones that you wanted. Mirko, thank you very much for becoming a member. You are an absolute legend. Yes, Star Pilot, the Blood Angels have already been asked, and yes, I have seen them, and no, I don't. I'm not happy about it. Okay. It's not that I'm not happy about it, it's just that it's like, I just don't care. It's just boring. It's a boring set of models. I'm about to run out of the old Drakenhof Nightshade that I pretty much use like a contrast paint over my winter bases. Do you have a suggestion to replace it in contrast? Space Wolves Grey. Space Wolves Grey is pretty good. How do I join your Discord? You can join the Discord by becoming a member, and then you have it's one of the benefits of being a member. So you can either become a member or hope somebody gifts you a membership. But yeah, Space Wolves Grey will help you, Marley, instead of Drakenhof Nightshade. Okay, let's build a Fire Raptor, shall we? So I'm gonna pop these instructions out of the way, because as you can see when I do that, the white balance just immediately turns us into a darkened land. However, this looks reasonably simple to put together, so we'll find out, of course, together. We have 2 sprues, 2 of those, and we did have, and I'm not sure where it's gone, we had 2 of these. I had it. Oh, it's there. Bosch and Bosch. Right? And the 2 sprues are identical in every way that matters. There it is. Boom. You're painting your own fire raptors. Oh, I love to hear that, Zara. I haven't built models in ages, so I actually don't know where my tools are. I've just been painting. Yep, that's a set of clippers. Okay, so we need component number 1, which is this little guy here. Oh, I haven't had my antihistamine today. That was foolish. Component number 1. Oh yeah. Let's do it. We also need component number 4. And 3 and 2. So we'll just get all of those out now. 4. And 3. Does anyone see it? Because I sure don't. We need 2. So what I would like to do is I would like to get a Thunderhawk to go with these. Component number 3 are down there. Because I think that would look cool. The Fire Raptors as the little escorts. I need my knife. There's my knife. So, one of the reasons why I think I'm this interested in Legions Imperialis is it lets me engage with the Warhammer 40,000 universe, but in a really cool way. It's a slightly different way, you know. So it's all kind of... Firstly, it's massive armies, which I like. I like massive army. Where would be a good place to start for Legions Imperialis Warhipster? So I think a good place to start is, of course, with the starter box. Because the starter box gives you an absolute ton of models. Gives you the Astartes, and it gives you the the Solar Auxilia, and it gives you 2 Warhound Titans, as well as the rule book and all that good stuff. However, if you know what you want, and what you want is to paint some tiny Space Marines, for example, then they released those. I don't know if they're still available. They might not be, but there were these things called these battle group boxes, which I think were about £100 or something like that. And they had essentially one of everything from the Astartes and the Solar Auxilia. Edward is painting the Lord Vigilant. Love it. Which Legion will these be? So these ones, because what you can do with Legions Imperialis is what I found out the other day, is you don't actually have to paint them all the same Legion. You can... Your detachments all have to be the same Legion. But you don't have to paint every detachment the same. So what I want to do is I want to create a... what's it called? A airborne assault detachment. And I want to paint it all as Blood Angels, funnily enough. So in order to do that, as I've got it right in my head, it contains one HQ option, which is one of the little bases of, you know, a captain and a banner bearer and all that kind of thing. You need 4 of your tactical marines, and you need at least 1 support, which would be your assault marines, your plasma gunners, or your missile launchers. You can then have 2 airborne options. However, you can, as I understand it, and I could be completely wrong, some of the Legions Imperialis people who know more than I do in the chat, please do stop me if I'm incorrect. You can, obviously, you can select dedicated transports for your models. So in the detachment that I made, I was like, I think this is legal, in that what we can do is maybe something like 2 Thunderhawk, well, a Storm Eagle, a Thunderhawk, and 2 Fire Raptors, and then inside that we can put our Assault Marines, because they can all transport in, right? Because they're dedicated transports. A Thunderhawk can carry 8 models, which is 8 bases, not just 8 individuals, because they're all tiny. So we can put in there our what would be our infantry bases. Which way around does this go? It goes that way around. I'm a little confused. Oh, it goes like that. Ha! I'm less confused now. Let's get this on. And then I shall answer your question. Boom. Fake Street Spirit, thank you very much for the £2. Advice for patience / not rushing to finish minis. Well, firstly, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. What advice do I have for that? It's I mean, I think what I would probably say in response to that question would be, it's not so much about patience to not rushing to finish miniatures. It's more about, do you really need to do those extra bits? Because sometimes I find you get towards the end of a paint job and you're like, oh, I've got to do these last sort of 5 or 6 colours on it, in terms of like tiny little highlights. And actually, if you don't really want to do those in order to pump the model up to that level, usually it's because you're actually already happy with how it looks, and it probably already looks awesome. So the question is the advice I would give is more around, be more, interrogate why you want to do those extra bits. And if those extra bits are the things that you think will really make it sing, then there's your inspiration to slow down and take your time with them. You see what I mean? Whereas if you're like, oh, I've got to do these spot highlights on the black in order to make it look good. But does it already look good? If it already looks good, then you don't need to do it. And you can be happy at that point. Does that make sense? I am well aware, Abdul. 2 new blood. I need to keep saying this. There are 2 new Blood Angels models. And I am not enthused. I should have predicted that this stream would be about this. We need component number 5 and number 5. Ah, they're right there. 5. Five. There we go. There we go. Lovely. Are you going to do a tutorial on the Termination Kill Team box? Probably not in the foreseeable future. I might do one day. If I can get those models. But I don't currently have a plan to do it. 5. In you go here. With the turbine facing down. Must be. Yeah, that makes sense. Kinda. Nice. We need 7 and 6. Oh my goodness me. Star Pilot 94 with the 20 gifted memberships. Star Pilot. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. That puts us on 399. Star Pilot, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is incredible. You're incredible. I hope you feel incredible. I hope you know that you're incredible. Asmodeus with the 1 gifted membership. There it is. You got the hot take on Blood Angels. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll keep saying it. There is nothing wrong with the Asmodai, not Asmodai. Asmodeus just gave one. Asmodai is another one. There is nothing wrong at all with the Lamatis, and there's nothing wrong with the Astaroth model. Nothing wrong with them at all. They're very nice models. They are. They're just very, very, very pretty. Of course they are. They were always going to be. They're not the models I wanted, though. That's why. That's why I'm like, oh, cool. They're not the models I wanted. They are the models I predicted. There is a very different thing. You don't go into a sports match. No, we'll do this one more time. You don't go into a sports match, right? And you feel elated when you predicted the score in the most obvious way. You don't go, I think Manchester City are going to beat Accrington Stanley. What you really enjoy is when Accrington Stanley beats Manchester City, because you were not expecting it. That is the beauty of sport. When you expect it, when you expect the result, and you expect the model, and you predict the model, and you predict the result, it is not as satisfying as you think it is. Do you see what I mean? That's why it's frustrating at the moment in 40k, because you go, guys, really exciting announcement for you. We've got a brand new codex coming out. Ooh, what is it? What's the new codex? We have got codex. Who's not out yet? Who have we not had? Give me a codex. World Eaters, Eldar, Space Wolves, Votan. Right, okay. So, World Eaters. For World Eaters, everybody expects there to be red butchers. So when there are red butchers, and that's it, or Coventry getting a win over Man U. Oh, exactly! That would have been incredible. That would have been incredible for Coventry. It was like, everyone was like, yeah, of course Man United should have won. And the excitement was that Coventry might do it. Coventry might come back from 3-0 down. 3-0 down? 3-0 down? They got to 3-3 and then they lost on penalties. I was rooting for Coventry and I'm a Man United fan. Exciting association football news. Harry Redknapp has signed Nico Cranchar. Exactly. Exactly. If you know everything that's going to happen, it's not exciting. People love an underdog. Exactly. Winchester 1979, thank you very much for becoming a member. You put us over 400 members right there. 401. So what we'll do now is we'll make this hilarious target 420. Let's go, baby. So we're 19 away from the next target, ladies and gentlemen. Boo, 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 boo. And like we said with the World Eaters, if World Eaters get a new set of Terminators in the form of Red Butchers, of course they're going to be gorgeous. They're going to be gorgeous, gorgeous World Eaters. But they're exactly what you were expecting. James Matthias with the 20 gifted memberships. New goal, please. There it is. Oh, then Goblin Horde with the 5 gifted memberships. That's for some 426. My goodness me, what are you doing? You need a new goal. Okay, what's the next goal? Let's say 450. Let's do that. Thank you so much, guys. James Matthias is an absolute legend. He really is. And when he makes his Warcry gaming channel, or his YouTube channel in general, same for Travis as well, when they both make their YouTube channels, we're all going to throw our support behind them because they are the best. Any more funny numbers? 469. 469 is a good funny number. Okay, we'll set it to 469. Let's do that. Nice. Nice. And we're over 50 likes. You crushed it already, guys. Next goal needs to be scored by a foot like a traction engine. Oh, he's got a foot like a traction engine. Oh, he scored! And another. Star Pilot 94 with 20 gifted members. My voice is already going, as you can tell. It's getting a bit emotional in here now. Star Pilot, thank you so much for 20 gifted memberships. Again. Absolute bloody legends, the lot of you. Hello, Jacob Schutz. It's days like today where you guys are being as generous as you are that honestly are the difference between the lights being on and the lights being off, you know. I cannot explain to you how much I appreciate it. The depths of human kindness that you show are truly humbling. It's incredible. Squigburger. We need to hit the goal. What can I say? Squigburger, thank you very much for being a member for 1 month. Awesome channel, awesome members. Anyone know why Harbinger of Decay is always sold out? It's because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful model. It's a very popular one, that one. Am I off base, or do the Blood Angels feel like an army that would basically go Phobos is useless and just use Tactica / Gravis for anything? You're not completely off base, but then they would see also that Phobos is a good way of sneaking up on your opponents in order to get into close combat. You have to blood your recruits early in the Blood Angels, otherwise they go, you know. The Black Rage is more of a risk when they're young. Jacob, throwing my favourite artist a bone. Thank you so much for the $5. That is incredibly kind of you. I very much appreciate it. I can get Skaventide for €150. What do we think? Go for it? I say 100%, Tom. Skaventide is an incredible box. Truly an incredible box. And it's a game in a box. You can play Spearhead with the contents. So you'll be able to play with a friend, a loved one, an enemy, straight out of the box. So Blood Angels Reavers. Yeah. I know I'm late to the party, but you think you'll ever paint Beast Snagger boys? Yes. I will get to the Beast Snagger boys eventually. I've got a few of them to paint, so we'll get there eventually. No bloody dice, though. Exactly. No bloody dice. I know I marked it down for that, and I think it's a reasonable criticism, but it's kind of like the only one, like, of that box. Like, you just look at that box and go, wow, there is some serious value for money in here. To be mad that it doesn't have dice is a funny one, because it's like, yeah, but look at everything else you're getting. But, yeah, it doesn't have any dice in it, but so you do need to get some dice. It is a great box, though. I've really enjoyed painting it, building and painting it. As mentioned before, for those of you who haven't seen it, we have a tutorial coming on the terrain. The terrain is on its way. I finished this yesterday, so have no fear. I have a question for you. It's a bit of a thought experiment for AOS. If we got a Cities of Sigmar Cogfort to replace the steam tank, would that be expected and therefore less exciting? I don't think it would, no. If you got a redesigned steam tank, that would be a little bit deflating, because it'd be like, ugh, well, you know, fine. It is another redesign. Again, it's never a criticism of the model itself. If you go, here's a new Cogfort, it's a brand new model. It's not a replacement of a steam tank. It's a brand new thing. Because presumably a Cogfort would be an enormous contraption. Which is why it would be exciting. Is why it would be cool. Look, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say this again. I have a worry that AOS will do the same thing. And we have it with a little bit with Skaven Tide in that the Liberators and the Prosecutors have been redesigned, as has the Lord Veritan and the Knight Quester. So really the only thing that is new in the... and the Clan Rats are redesigned. The Clawlord on Norbeast is technically new. The Grey Seer is a redesign. The Zales are a redesign. The Warlock Engineer is a redesign, as is the Rat Ogres. They're very good redesigns and they're very, very nice models. What I want to see from their multi-part releases is that they surprise me and that there's new stuff. Yeah, exactly, Alec Man. So a cog fort is not a replacement for a steam tank. It is a completely brand new thing. Hello, Captain Mannerings. How are you doing? How's the move going? Starpilot has been a member for 6 months, so as well as gifting all those memberships, has also been a member for 6 months, because they are an absolute legend. So with Hellcrown being 62.4% to 37.6% in favour of Skaven, what are your predictions for both factions' releases? Curious to hear what you think will come out of this campaign. So, we've seen the Abominant. I think what the Skaven are missing is a heavy infantry. And I think that's what we'll get. I've been listening to the Skaven Tide novel. Has anyone else been listening to that? Because there is a really cool kind of like blind ninja Skaven thing going on in there with chain weapons that which have barbs and blades on the end of long chains made out of shadow. So I think we might be getting those. They're very, very cool. Which again, it might be like a Night Runners / gut runners thing, or like a Eshin assassin type thing. But they're not Clan Eshin. They have their own name. I can't remember what the name of the clan is in it. But I think we might be getting those, and those are sick. They sound incredible. Howdy, Mr. Josh. Traumatic and expensive, but mostly okay. Internet situation is a problem. Currently having to use my phone as a wireless hotspot, but it has to be outside the house. Ugh. When are the internet people coming to turn you on? I stand by what I said. I can't remember the name of it. They say the name of the clan in the book, Alec Man. It's a name I hadn't heard before. Okay. So we've got the chassis of our Fire Raptor built. So now we need component number 8, which is the main part of the Fire Raptor. Well, it's not a chassis, is it? It's a fuselage. Have I got that correct? Plane aficionados, you'll know more. Because a plane doesn't have a chassis, it has a fuselage. Is that right? Fuselage? However you're supposed to say it. Number 8. Number 8. Little Simpsons reference for you there. Component 8 and component 9. You're listening to Fear to Tread. Oh, that's a great book. Fear to Tread's a lovely book. So what else from the Skaven? I could see a named character coming along. I don't think we'll see a redesigned Screech Vermin King, for example, because the Vermin Lord builds Screech, and they haven't said that kit is going away, so I don't think we're getting a new Vermin Lord kit. So I think there's going to be a slightly heavier infantry, maybe Storm Vermin, maybe not. We might see a bigger kind of engine, war engine. I don't think we'll see a new Screaming Bell or a new Warp Lightning Cannon or a new Plague Claw. There might be a new Doom Wheel or something that is equivalent to a Doom Wheel but different. And then Stormcast. Stormcast is the interesting one here because it's like, well, what's going to happen? I think there's going to be a new Lord Celestant. And the reason I think that is because the Lord Celestant model, I believe, was in the list of things that is being Legends did, but its rules are in the faction pack, not in the what's it called? The Sacrosanct supplement thing, like the Judicators, for example. So I think we'll see a new Lord Celestant. I don't think we'll see a new Lord Castellant. I think that's going. Obviously, we've seen the new Knight Azeros, which is another redesign. So, you know, I hold my reservations about it. But I think we're going to see at least one, hopefully 3. That's component 11. We'll do these one by one. I think we're going to see 11 or so. Not 11. I think we're going to see at least one, maybe 2 more Ruination Chamber units. Because at the moment, the Ruination Chamber has 3 characters, and it's getting another one in the form of the Azeros, and you've only got Reclusians and Prosecutors currently. So we have the Azeros is going to be part of the Ruination Chamber, the Lord Vigilant, the Lord Terminos, and the Lord Veritant. They're all Ruination Chamber. You can't have that many characters leading 2 units, so there must be more that's coming. There must be. There simply must be. So I would guess there's going to be a multi-part Reclusians kit, which I think might come with a 2-handed axe, as based on that video that we all saw very recently about the new display. So slightly heavier weapon version of Reclusians. I would also guess that maybe there's a cavalry option, so like Reclusians on Griff Stalkers, maybe something like that. And historically, there has usually been a ranged unit as well that comes with a Stormcast release. So maybe there's a ranged unit that's coming for the Ruination Chamber. I'm very interested to see what a new Battle Tome is going to look like, because the faction packs feel really complete in a way that the indexes for 10th edition didn't. So I don't know how they're going to improve upon those faction packs, and that's what I think is most fascinating. For 10th edition, it was easy because it was like, well, okay, there'll be an AN number of detachments, because they've said at the moment everyone gets 1, and then we're going to bring out more for each one. But with these guys, with the Sigmar ones, we've had each one has 4 battle formations, as well as 3 relics. 3 heroic. 3. Oh god, whatever they're called. 3 heroic traits, 3 artifacts, rather than just like 1 of each. You see what I mean? So I would almost expect those battle tomes to maybe bump those up to like 4 to 6 each. Give you a couple more different ways to do it. Maybe they're going to include more spell laws as well, depending on your faction. Something like Nighthaunt, or like with Nagash. Nagash has 9 casts. So runs out of spells to actually cast pretty quickly. Aside from just like pinging out a ton of endless spells. I also think it's conceivable that we'll see some terrain for each one. Component number 13. What's my favourite Horus Heresy book? Fear to Tread is definitely up there. Betrayer is very good. Mark of Kauth is also very good. What other ones? What other ones are there? Flight of the Eisenstein, obviously. That's a very good book. Master of Mankind is a very good book. Slaves to Darkness is a very good book as well. Buried Dagger, I enjoyed that one. Pharos I liked because Barabbas Dantioch and Alexis Pollux being absolute lads. I think all of the White Scars books are great. Scars is great. Path of Heaven is great. And then obviously you start moving towards things like the Siege. There's lots of very, very good Horus Heresy novels. They just didn't stick the landing with the Siege, I thought. We need 14. Component number 14. And there's 2 of these. The Siege of Terror books kind of go one bad, one good, one bad, one good, one incredible, and then I thought The End and the Death was too long. Didn't need to be 3 books long. I thought in the Siege of Terror that Saturnine was very good. Lost and the Damned was pretty good. Warhawk was amazing. I thought Warhawk was the best one, to be honest. Echoes of Eternity was good. Problem is I thought the Solar War, First Wall, Mortis, they were all really bad. Any advice on books I should listen to revolving around Skaven or Ulgu? I would check out Starpilot. I would genuinely check out the Skaven Tide book. I am really enjoying it at the moment. If you haven't already. It's been quite cool. You'll see what I mean as well about one of my predictions around units. Because the way they're described and the concept of them is sick. I'm new and going to start listening to the books. Where should I start with AOS? Skaventide or earlier? And thank you for all you do. That's very kind of you, Goblin Horde. Thank you very much for the £5. That's very generous of you. You could start with Skaventide. Skaventide would give you... Excuse me. Skaventide would give you a... And I say this having... I've not finished it yet, right? I think I've got like 8 hours left of the book, something like that. In fact, I can find out exactly how much I've got for you. Let me just find that out for you now. Audible. Hashtag sponsor me. I have 7 hours and 26 minutes left of Skaventide. So, I mean, it could be bad. The second half of it could be bad. I don't think it will be. But what Skaventide, the book, will do is it'll give you a decent intro into how the Ruination Chamber works and the Skaven as they are in their new format. Which is always a good thing, because those are the two leading factions for the game right now. However, I actually genuinely think that if you can get past Nagash shouting, which he does quite a bit at the beginning of the book, Soul Wars is very good because that was the book that led 2nd edition, and I also think Dominion was very good. I really enjoyed Dominion. And because those are books that basically lead the edition, right? They're the novel of the box that accompanied the launch of an edition. They're quite... They do describe things that more established people would already know. So they explain how Stormcast work a little bit. They explain it less and less as time goes on because people should be more and more familiar with them. But I think as a trilogy of books, Soul Wars, Dominion, and Skaventide, whilst they're not connected by characters, they are all quite good, and I enjoyed all of them thoroughly. If you want to start right at the beginning, then you can go back to Gates of Azir, which was the first one they ever did. Now, the only reason why I don't often counsel doing that is because Gates of Azir is the very first AOS book. And because it's the very first AOS book, the whole point of Gates of Azir is to try and explain to you what Stormcast Eternals are and how they work. So if you don't care about Stormcast Eternals, there is nothing for you in Gates of Azir. Basically. Because it's not really going to help you with, you know, the general goings on, maybe, of the Mortal Realms. It is literally just about it's about the first battle that takes place that begins the Age of Sigmar, right? So it's about Vandus Hammerhand and the Hammers of Sigmar appearing at the Akshi realm gate and kicking 7 shades of snot out of some Khorne bloodbound that we're not expecting it. Because it's the very first appearance. The Gates of Azir is only 3 hours and 36 minutes. Yeah, exactly. It's a very short book. There are some really good ones. In the Realm Gate Wars series. The longer ones are quite good. And there's a couple in there that explain a little bit more about what's going on. So there's like the Call of the Everchosen, which is from Chaos perspective. And that's quite a good book because it actually puts a kind of a little bit of personality. Nagash shouts, I always imagine speaking almost like a gentler Cetra the Imperishable, King of Kings, Ruler of the Earth, Monarch of the Sky, Eternal Sovereign of Khemri's legions. Cetra doesn't pay his taxes. In Soul Wars, Nagash is quite loud. He wants you to know that all is one in Nagash, and Nagash is all. And he says that quite a lot, and he says it quite loudly. Almost constantly. And it's like, yeah, okay, we get it now, Nagash. But as you know, as always, a really good book to read about the game is the core rulebook. Core rulebook has like 200 pages at the beginning that is just all about who everybody is and what they're all up to, really. It is often the resource that a lot of people forget to check out, but there is loads of information in there. So if you've bought a box of Scaventide, I really would recommend reading your core rulebook. It's the same thing in 40k usually. A lot of people forget that the core rulebook has about 200 pages of narrative in it. What is next from the Realm Gate Wars? I can't remember what the next one is called. Is it called Wrath of Sigmar? I'll look it up in a second. And maps are sexy. Maps are sexy. I'm a fan of good map. A good map, a good spreadsheet, a good organization chart. I love them. They're the best things in codexes. Did we ever find out what Sigmar lied about? Yes. Sigmar lied that the Stormcast were truly eternal. They are technically. But their immortality comes at a great price. But again, the Scaventide novel is going into that. Again, I'm only about halfway through, but it is going into it in good detail, and I'm really enjoying that from a Stormcast fan's perspective. I sound like I'm shilling for that book, and I haven't even finished it yet, and I am in some ways. But it is going into detail about, they've developed these techniques to try and stave off the losing parts of themselves as they get as they get reforged over and over again. You'll just have to read it to understand more. This is a very cool little plane, by the way. Still finishing Son of the Lion. Ah, I listened to Son of the Lion as well. I listened to it whilst I was waiting for something. I was waiting for Scaventide. A little heavy on the glue on that side. That's fine. We can just smush some of it off. Right. This now needs to go on here. And we also need to put in... Right, so we need a truly spectacular amount of glue for what is a very tiny little model. Oh, the Son of the Light. Is that a different book? Am I thinking of a different one? Thoughts on Underworlds? I think Underworlds is the single best and most competitive game that Games Workshop has ever made. And when I say best, I mean the best competitive game they've ever made. 100%. No questions asked. I think it's a very, 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 very cool game. It's got loads of fascinating mechanics, and even better, it's got some of the best models that Games Workshop has ever made. What I'm very confused about when it comes to Warhammer Underworlds is that they never attempted a 40k version of it. But like, it's not really a traditional Warhammer game in the sense of like it all comes down to a dice roll. You know, there's the deck building element of it and all that kind of thing. Right. I think I'm going to put quad heavy bolters on this. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that's how I always picture Fire Raptors working. It might not necessarily be the most competitive choice, but it's what we're going with. We need 24 and 25. There we go. 3 more to get to 69 likes. 2 more. 1 more away from the magic number of likes, guys. If you do have a like to give, please do donate it. Heavy bolters are probably the right choice rules-wise. I kind of thought so. You want them to have... that kind of similar weapons, right, for dealing with similar targets, rather than losing any... Because you can't split fire, can you? That's 1. No, wrong sprue. 25 and 24. Oh, you can split fire. Everything with either point defense or sky fire can shoot something other than the primary target. Oh. Well, I feel like because of the Vulcan Mega Bolter on the front, it is a Vulcan Mega Bolter, right? If you add the heavy bolters to it, it just kind of makes it more effective, right? I mean, we're doing it. I figure, like, what I'm building is a Blood Angels aerial assault detachment that is literally just designed to, like, annihilate infantry. We need 21. Wait, hang on. Can these just, like, slot in? So we can change our minds? Because there's... Oh, wait, hang on. I've missed some bits. 18. Got some little stabilizers. Will the last 5 storm hosts be one video? No, Thomas, there'll be 5 separate videos because they don't really cross over in the same way the clan rats do. There's a couple of like similarities here and there, like where you can do all the gold, for example, but otherwise, they're not similar enough to do it all in one. Because otherwise the video would just be uncomfortably long. So we're going to use 5 separate videos that will come out over the next couple of next couple of weeks, whilst I figure out what the hell I'm going to do next. And maybe if it ever comes back in stock, I'll get a Warp Lightning Cannon and some Storm Vermin. Then I can have a 2,000 point army of Scary. The turrets need to be glued or magnetized, sadly. Boo. Okay, got our stabilizers in. Okay, well, if they need to be glued in, I'm still going to go with the quad hobby button. Can you paint these as salamanders, pretty please? Mitchell, I want to do them as blood angels. I have got a bunch of stuff to do for Legions Imperialis, though. There will be some stuff for Legions Imperialis. Don't you worry about. The salamanders require a lot more stuff. Also, you know, there's nothing stopping me from saving some pennies and finding some money to buy some more. It's like how I want to finish I want to do a Titan Legio for Adeptus Titanicus. And in order to do the Titan Legio, I have everything I need, apart from, I think, 1 Reaver Titan. Is what I need. Especially for Legio Solaria, which is what I have done. I have 2 more Warhounds. I have some Direwolves as well, to go with the 2 that I already did, plus a Reaver, which I need a new base for. So I want to finish that lot. But I think when I pointed it out last time, I had a spare Direwolf, so I will be starting a 2nd Titan Legio, I think. Okay. So these now go in here. I see what you mean. They do have to be glued in. I think we go for the smaller stick. And I'm not going to glue this in because I want to be able to prime it, so I'm just going to push it in a little bit, like that. And then we do that. And that is our Fire Raptor. That's sick. Someone said about the box, incoming Black Rage. No, no, I'm not mad about it. I think, to answer your question, Random 13 Cinema, I think the Lamatis and Asterath models are very lovely, and they are also the most predictable thing that could have been announced for the Blood Angels, and therefore I'm just not really all that enthused by it. It's the short version. It's predictable. It's predictable, and therefore it's stale. They're lovely models. They are lovely models. They're just a little boring. Will you paint Azek Araman from Horus Heresy? I don't see why we couldn't. I don't have one. And I haven't planned to do one. That's something we could put on the to-do list, maybe. In fact, you know what? I will. I'll put it on the to-do list for you. Legions Imperialis. It's a lot of fun. I just built an entire Fire Raptor, which I would never be able to do if that was resin. So, guys, it is 20 past 7, which means we've got about 20 minutes left. There's 20 minutes to get 23 more members to break the goal for a third time, fourth time. In GW. I mean, if they want to send me one, that would be lovely. As a one-man crew, you should have all the models, have videos done by now. I know. I know I should. All I ever do is constantly fail all of you on a daily basis by not having them all done. It's just what I do. Always be disappointed. Asmodeus, thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. And James Matthias with another 20 gifted memberships. Oh my goodness me. Absolute bloody legends. What did that put us on? Oh, that takes us past it, baby. 460, 471. You love to see it. Oh my god. Thank you so much, guys. Legends. Absolute legends. You're amazing. Thank you. Goblin Horde with the 1 gifted. Thank you so much. Episode 472. Brilliant. Absolutely incredible. It's very, very kind of you. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. This has been an incredible Me Time Monday. It's actually started to cool down here as well. Or I've just been sat in the fan for so long that I am no longer noticing the heat. Playing Total War Warhammer, Clan Mulder does have a tiny bit of green. If they did a Throt the Unclean model, how would you do the green? Let's have a look, shall we? Throt The unclean. Let me see what he looks like. Give me a character model, Google. Don't want the art. Is that it? Is this... Is this the one you're meaning? That one? Edit man, thank you very much for being a member for 2 months. I really appreciate it. Is it this one? Okay. So, how would we do that green? Let me look at it. So the green of the hood around here looks very similar to it looks very similar to the field ordnance batteries I did. So what I did there is I thinned down some Black Legion, put that all over, and then put Dark Angels green over the top of that. What you could probably get away with is actually doing something like either Rattling Grime or Basilicanum Grey, and do that as a layer first, and then throw Dark Angels green over the top, because that would give you a dark greyish green. It is pretty close to Dark Angels green, it's just a little bit cold. So the other thing you could potentially do would be to use something like just use that mix of throwing down Creed camo and then putting Militarum green over it, or you could reverse it the other way and do Militarum green followed by Creed camo. But I think it's basically like it's like grimier Dark Angels green basically. So I think doing a grey and then Dark Angels green over the top will get it there. Would be how I would do that. Even all Josh, have you already discussed the Blood Angels reveal? Yes. Many times. Are we expecting a scenery spearhead video? Well, I don't know, Martin. Let's just say the outlook looks good. You'll be getting this video this week. We also have done our Sons of the Gladius Liberator. We've made a start on Astral Templars, Celestial Warbringers, Sons of Malice, and Stormblood Guard are the other 3 that we're going to be doing as well. I think you guys will like this video because it's not actually that complicated. I've tried to simplify it as much as possible in the face of what is quite complex terrain. There's a lot of detail going on here. So, like, for example, you can probably already guess how this white stone is done, because if you've been following the channel for a while, you will have seen some Osgiliath terrain, maybe. That's how we basically did that. It's then silver, gold, wildwood. Bit of skeleton horde. There's a little bit of red on the back here as well. The green is Dark Angels green, and so on and so forth. And we've done the rust using dry brushing and stippling techniques. Same for this grime at the bottom of the walls along here. So should be. I think it's going to be a good video. I think it looks great. I can't wait to play some Spearhead now with these. There we go. What paints would you do for the Elfheim Eagles? Let me look at them. I would probably go for is it Luxion? That's not Luxion purple. Maybe it is. Hang on. Warhipster. What did I do? Daughters of Cain. Did we do 2 layers of Luxion purple? Yes, we did. Okay, so in order to paint them for the purple of the Elfheim Eagles, I would go for 2 layers of Luxion purple. Is how I would get that purple. For the yellow, I would use probably Imperial Fist, and then I would shade it with Cassandora yellow. Would be how I would do it. You could then shade the purple with Druchii Violet just to bring it down a little bit more, or punch up that purple just a bit more, a bit extra. And then it's really your choice of highlights, but I would probably go for Genestealer purple, and then Slanesh grey or D'Charla lilac, depending on how I felt at the time, as the highlights. And for the yellow, I would go for a kind of slightly muted highlight in the form of probably Flash Gits rather than Phalanx, which is yellow. Flash Gits is a little bit warmer. That would be how I would paint the Elfheim Eagles. But yeah. So this week you will be getting the terrain as a video. And probably the Sons of the Gladius video will be up next. I've got the other 4. I need to focus on painting them. I'm going to be doing them tonight. So I'll finish the Astral Templars. And I think I also planned tonight, rather than to do the Celestial Warbringers, because they're very serious. They're very similar. I think I planned to do, yeah, Sons of Malice tonight. So if I have 3 done today, 2 more tomorrow, then we are finally finished with Skaven Tide. So the videos will be coming out thick and fast. And then after that, I've got some 40k commissions I have to finish. So you might see some videos for those, you might not. Depends how I feel as I'm painting them. And then I also have a White King on Skeletal Steed to paint. So that's my week. And we're rapidly going to approach a clever blend of probably a pile of Legions Imperialis, and I'm also feeling MESBG, is what I'm thinking. Might be what we do, I suspect. So get your towels ready. It's about to go down. Anyway, it is 7:30. I am going to finish things off there. I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to Mini Painting Dad, Savage Savra, Mirko Anschutz, Fake Street Spirit, Star Pilot 94, Asmodeus, Winchester 1979, James Matthias, Goblin Horde, Star Pilot again, Squigburger, Jacob Schutz. I hope I'm saying your surnames correct. Star Pilot again, Goblin Horde again, James Matthias again, Asmodeus, Goblin Horde again, Alec Mad. Thank you so much for the super chats, for the gifted memberships, for becoming members, and for the months of membership. You guys are unbelievable. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We've smashed a bunch of goals. Just unbelievable. You guys are unbelievable. Incredible stuff. Should we raid Liam? Nah. You can go and watch Liam. I don't know if Liam's live though, is he? Oh, he is. He's doing some Nighthorn. Go on, I'll send you over to Liam. We'll do that. There we go. For those of you who are fans of Age of Sigmar, he's currently doing some Nighthorn. I saw he was building Lady Olander earlier. So I'm going to send you over to Liam. Guys, Linus just scored an eBay lot with like 44 of the MESBG magazines. More MESBG videos will be very nice for me. Yeah, I'm feeling the call. I'm feeling the call to Middle Earth. And I've got a lot of Middle Earth models that I need to paint. So there could be tons of videos for MESBG. All depends on time. So I've got a bunch of stuff I need to finish before I can do that. But we're going to end things there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You guys are unbelievable. It was record stream this month for members. Unbelievable scenes. So I will see you all very, very, very soon in the next one. Like I said, we'll be live again on Wednesday, but we've got a painting video obviously on Thursday, and there will be one on Saturday as well. But for now, I'm going to raise the hand of farewell, and I'm going to jiggle it at you. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for your generosity, for hanging out with me, and for being the best audience ever. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you all again on Wednesday. Farewell, and good afternoon, I guess.